Here's a question for you. What would you prefer, a toy or a technique? If it's a toy, I can save you a couple of minutes here and just say, this is not a toy. Because this project Switch is all about the technique of switching cards. To actually just say that, I kind of feel sells it a bit short because it's so much more than that. At its core, Switch is 5 switches that you can learn in order to enhance your card magic, your mentalism, billet work, anything like that, okay? But I don't just teach the switches here. No. Nope, I teach a whole lot more. There's a bunch of routines and ideas to get your creative juices flowing. And maybe you don't even need to use your creative juices because I have squeezed enough of my own creativity into this, so you got all of my juice instead. So the way that I go about creating magic is to make it seem as natural as possible. I'm not a big fan of flourishing moves and stuff. I kind of like my moves to be not seen. And the best way to make them not seeable is to make them look like you're doing nothing. And I don't mean like I'm secretly doing a technique where I'm doing nothing. I mean, like I'm just doing what I say I'm doing. I'm not doing anything untoward. I'm not doing anything crazy, okay? If I'm putting a card here, I'm putting a card here. It's not that I'm secretly switching the card more. Do you understand what I mean? That's the way that I create magic. So this whole project is about the 5 switches I've devised that work really well for me to switch folded playing cards or billets so that you can use that to create your miracles. So as well as the 5 switches I teach on this project, I also teach you some of the best ideas and routines I've come up with using these switches. And they are, if I do say so myself, worthy of a chef's kiss. So for all you card workers out there, there's obviously the standard mystery card plot where you show a folded card and the spectator's signed card ends up being that folded card. I also teach some awesome ideas that I have with that plot. And there's also the impossible location. I delve into that where you find their signed card in an impossible location, right? But it doesn't just stop there. Oh, no, there's more, So there's also a full billet peek. I like to call the billet look because you're not really peeking. There's no time restraints or light worries or electronics. It's just a pure full-blown look at what they say in a completely innocent way. There is also a 50-50 that I love to perform where you give the choice of 2 choices to a spectator and you always control the outcome. There's also a whole section dedicated just to teaching you how to use these techniques to force items on your spectator. Then there's the guess which hand, which is a really interesting, different way of presenting a guess which hand. Where no matter how good or how bad your routine is going, you show at the end that you have predicted their every action. You can also predict a coin toss 3 times in a row with no gimmick coins and no funny kind of rigged tossing or spinning techniques. In fact, the spectator can use their own coin and toss the coin themselves, yet you're able to predict their actions completely. And if you've ever used a product like the Amaze box or any other switching box, don't get me wrong, they're fantastic, but I also teach a method which is using a clear, ungimmicked box. So your audience can all write down information on billets, chuck them in a box, and yet the one that the spectator selects is always the one that you want them to select. So if you already use a product like the Amaze box or something similar, this is a great technique to learn because should you lose your luggage on the way to an event or a gig or something like that, or have a technical problem with one of your props, you'll always have this as a backup. And it's so easy. You just need a box and some billets, pen to write stuff on, and you are good to go. So like I say, this isn't just a project teaching 5 switches and leaving you to go and create stuff on your own. Oh no. This is over 120,000 hours of tuition from me. That's completely incorrect, but it's a fairly long download. So if you're interested in learning these techniques, then just do the thing where you click the link, do the buy stuff and get it, because then you can learn it all.